Touchdown, Detroit Lions. You can't cover that man one-on-one. You just can't do it.
He drives, lobs to JD for a jam.
You play real good, you start. You don't play as good, you work your way back in. It's the American way, except America has gotten soft. But that is the American way. That's the way it works.
This is the 6-6 game.
Jameson Williams, he's got it. Touchdown, Lions.
I can't wait for football season. Every time I hear that, I don't know what it is. I just can't wait for football season. Maybe this is, they say while you're away, the heart grows fonder. That's the situation for me for baseball. Yes, soccer did something for me last night. We'll get into that for sure. Baseball season.
You had to watch the game last night. You had to watch the game last night, right? There's nothing else I can even think of that was on that I would have been watching.
I was thinking about that, Andy, and I thought to myself, if the Tigers had played at night, would you have watched them instead of the soccer game? The answer for me to that is yes. Okay, but
I get it.
Yeah, but I did watch it last night, and I enjoyed it. I wasn't emotional. I just watched it. I'm like, oh, okay, great. I tried to watch away from the ball, similar to how I watch other sports more than anything else. How are you not feeling any pride with something like that?
Sure.
I was literally thinking to myself while watching it, like, if I'm going to sit there on a morning after Team USA wins gold in the Olympics, which is what this is, it's the equivalent to, right? If I'm going to sit there and ask people, how do you not love hockey? How do you not love what Team USA just did? How do you not know who Jack Hughes is or Zach Werenski, right? Or Connor Hellebuck now? How is it not unearthing some national pride from you? If I'm going to do that after a Team USA win on the ice, how come I personally can't do what I have asked others to do when it comes to the world of soccer? So with that, I said to myself, yes,
For sure.
let's watch it and let's try to get as involved as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. And I'm glad I did because, it's not going to, and it's the Mitch Lyons, the poll question. Andy came up with it. It's a really good one. Usually I come up with them, but I was at a loss last night. And Andy saved me with this. What does the USA World Cup win to reach the round of 16 do for you? I'm a new soccer fan. I'm still not interested, or I'm indifferent. I wouldn't be a new soccer fan. I'm not going to watch this. I'm not going to watch any of the games that are taking place tonight. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I get that.
And that's kind of how I look at as a soccer fan. If you're a soccer fan, are you watching Spain and Austria tonight?
No,
Me?
the World Cup.
Absolutely not.
The World Cup for me is like, I'm like this. I'm not a huge soccer fan or anything, but it's kind of like when I watch the Olympics and like curling's on or something, and I have nothing else to watch.
Yeah.
It feels like it's like the same thing. It's like, okay, yeah, I guess I'll give that a try because why wouldn't I? But
sure,
that's
and I completely understand that. Let me adjust something real quick. I completely understand that. Maybe that's the way it is with other sports. Those who are not baseball fans will watch the World Series.
Right.
Those who are not NBA fans will watch the NBA playoffs. I don't think this is too dissimilar from that. So I don't think we're being hypocritical here or unpatriotic. I think we're being very patriotic. We're rooting for Team USA. I could not name one person on Team USA's soccer team, nor could I name where they play their regular season or whatever. So I wouldn't be able to do that. But I can sit back and enjoy what they were doing last night. I was a little confused at why they had 2 goals erased.
Yeah, so that's how I was going to say to you. There's parts of it. So I ended up watching a good amount of it with my friends. I covered the Whitecaps for a little bit. But anyway, the offsides for soccer has always been something that has just drove me nuts that I can't stand about it. Because, like, it's basically whenever a player is just like, if the offensive player gets behind the defense at all, like before, like they basically have to be in front of them no matter what. So that's why those goals don't. That's why that goal didn't count from Christian Pulisic. I'm pretty sure it's the one you're talking about where he was like right in front of the net in the second half and he scored. It was kind of like a chip shot. It was like a pretty easy one. But if you watch the replay, he like barely got behind the defense before, the ball got to him. The ball has to be in his possession before he gets behind the defense. I can't stand that. I think if you're inside the goal box like that close, and that play is already developing, like why does that have to be an offsides? I feel like there should be a line somewhere on the soccer field that's like, okay, once you're past this point, like, you can be behind the defense and it's fine. Because if they knew that ahead of time, I think it'd be okay. But
I think okay, I get that, but I was referring more to the goal by Balogun.
Yeah. There was that one too.
He scored first. He was quote unquote offsides. Then he scored for real.
Yeah.
I didn't understand, I don't think it's as simple as what you were saying. From what I was gathering, it was where he was on the field to determine he was offside.
Yep.
It's not that the defense has always got to be in front of you. You can get behind the defense. It's a matter of when the passer was in the box, there's another box, if you will, that he's got to be able to stay behind until there is a certain pass towards him.
Yeah, there's the penalty box and the goal box. The penalty box is the big one. The goal box is the small one. That's the two.
There you go. So that's the thing that confused me a little bit. Either way,
I totally
USA wins 2-0, and they're off to Seattle for a Monday night clash. So good for them.
That red card, that's also one more thing that just drove me nuts about soccer. The red card on Balogun, the player you're talking about. I don't know if you saw that, but that was
I did. I thought that was ridiculous.
That's ridiculous, man. I mean, come on.
I was really, what I liked most about the game?
What's that?
Is that there were not an over excessive amounts of flopping.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Yep. It was a lot better last night.
A lot of times Team USA was knocked down and that player bounced right back up. There's a few that I was like, oh, come on, dude. And then you look at you look at the replay and you think to yourself, oh, okay.
Yeah,
I understand that now. The other interesting story I thought was, I didn't realize this about Tim Ream. Tim Ream's a defender, and he's what, 38 years old?
Yep.
Something like that. 38 and then some. And he was out there making play after play, denying Bosnia any opportunities down low. I thought it was great.
Yeah, you get that world level play, man. It brings a lot of, either way, that's what makes it exciting. I feel like no matter what, because it gets the best out of those players.
Yeah, I was wondering how long it takes. Like, all these guys play against one another? Like Balogun, you look it up, and he plays for Monaco. It's his real job, I suppose. Weston McKennie plays for a place called Juventus. No idea. Okay, I'm pulling this stuff out of the air because, well, actually from their player bio. So I have no idea where these places are. When you look at that, do they play against one another? How long do they know one? At least like with the NHL, at least with the Olympic team, these guys are playing against one another.
Well, there's Premier League and MLS.
They skate with one another in the off season. So yeah, I know there's Premier League and MLS. Well, I mean, those guys aren't playing against one another. How much do they know each other's games? Are they training with each other? There's a lot of thing that goes into it that is completely opposite of what the familiarity is with NBA or NHL. But anyway, so 2-0, a nice win for Team USA. That's the Mitch Lyons Well poll question. We hope you can vote on it as often as you want. Results come your way tomorrow when we're on the air. And there's a lot to get to here this morning. And we will do that with you throughout the morning here on X's and Bros on a Tullymore Thursday. And we're brought to you by Mitch Lyons Well.
Huge here for my good friend Josh Garvey and the team at Dorn Mayhew, West Michigan, one of the world's top accounting, CPA, and business firms. Our worldwide headquarters are in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state. And Josh and his team connect with all the sports fans and businesses across Michigan. They bring you John Beeline on the Huge Show. They bring you Lomas Brown during the Lion season. They are a top shelf team when it comes to growth and understanding what their clients need. And mix in when we do the Beat Huge contest or the NCAA March Madness brackets. Thank you, Josh Garvey, for what you do for The Huge Show and the Michigan Sports Network. Simple and easy. Just find Dorn Mayhew on all the social networks or just Google Dorn Mayhew and find out how they can help your business. And again, a special thanks to Josh Garvey and the Dorn Mayhew team in West Michigan. Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge.
We're fortunate here in Michigan. We have some of the greatest golf courses in the country. Tullymore and St. Ives is part of the reason we can brag the way we do about our golf. Once you visit Tullymore, you'll keep coming back. The view is breathtaking. The golf is fantastic. The accommodations are regal, and the people are special. It really does feel like a home away from home at Tullymore. Make your play and stay reservations today by going to tullymoregolf.com or by calling 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sportsnet. Sign up like the Huge Show did with the Detroit Sportsnet Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
Well, Drew's throwing the ball really well, and they're pretty top-heavy left-handed at the top of the lineup. So given the swing and miss and the way Drew was throwing, and just given the way that, we have another game tomorrow, I was trying to get, to a specific spot. For Kenley, there was a time where Finnegan was coming in. There was a time where Cater was coming in. I didn't want to bring him in. It was truly like, kind of a playoff game where you're just going batter by batter to try to get to the end. Now, we had the ground ball to first with Jazz, and then they score without moving the ball forward again. So it was just a really bizarre inning with a lot of different options. And then as the game changed batter by batter, so did my decision on where to go. And then Cater stepped up big time.
So I get all that from AJ Hinch, who, as I've said before, I trust implicitly. I think he's a very good manager. I think he's a baseball. I'm not going to say savant, but I think he's a really smart guy. He's got over 1,000 career wins in Major League Baseball. I don't think you get there without have an idea of what you're doing. That said, I completely understand why Tigers fans, many of them Tigers fans, are sick and tired of what they would call the analytical game. The constant changing based on situation. Let me tell you why. He's saying that, he's talking about Drew Anderson in that spot, and Drew Anderson, gave up the 2-0 lead in the ninth. He's been good overall. But here's the problem people have. Troy Melton had gone 6 1/3, had allowed 2 hits, no earned runs. His line was strong because he struck out 7 in 6 1/3. He'd only pitched 84 pitches. That's it. And he pulled them. So what do you think, knowing what is the strength? Let me ask you this, because we talk about strengths of teams all the time. The strength of the Lions used to be the offensive line. You've got to address it. They do. The strength of the Pistons, their outside shooting with Hardaway and Malik Beasley here, that they miss them. What do? You have to address it. To a certain extent, they did. What's the strength of the Tigers right now? Fork to nose, Andy. What is the strength of your Detroit Tigers?
Starting rotation?
For sure. It's not even close. It's not their defense. It's not their power, although they did have 49 homers in the month of June, which ties a franchise record from 1937. The strength of this team, without a doubt, is the starting pitching.
34 straight starts now without allowing more than 4 runs, I'm pretty sure is what it is, or something like that.
Tells you something, doesn't it?
Yeah, like the hitting has been great. I want to make sure we touch on that.
An overused word.
Okay, but power. Yeah. The power has been great. And it's like that's a big part of it, but you can't. The starting pitching is doing what everybody thought it was going to do when they signed these guys, and they had some of the young guys in there too. So,
absolutely,
it's undeniable. Of the starting pitching is the reason they've been in every game that they've been playing, and it feels like lately.
There's no doubt about that. When you look back and you see, are you on pitch counts? Troy Melton has thrown more than 84 pitches in a game. In fact, the 84 pitches he threw last night were the second fewest he has thrown in a start this year. The other was his first at Baltimore. And you could understand why, because he was coming off an injury. So in that game, he threw just 79 pitches. Since that time, he threw 89 against the White Sox. He threw 94 in Tampa. He threw 88 against Minnesota. He threw 84 against the White Sox. He threw 88 against the Astros in his last start. So when you are that good at 84 pitches and allowing just 2 hits, you would think it warrants a longer leash. Fair enough? Okay.
Yeah, no argument.
Drew Summers comes in, doesn't allow a hit after throwing 9 pitches. Okay? In fact, he has only allowed runs to score in 1 of his 13 innings this season. 9 pitches. Drew, that's enough. Have a nice day. Sit down and watch the rest of the game with me. I'm going to go to Drew Anderson. Drew Anderson, given a second inning, allowed to throw 32 pitches, which is not a huge deal because he's done that before. And he gives up the 2-0 lead. Those are the things. And then in comes Cater Montero, and he was fantastic in 2 innings.
Man, you got to talk about him a little bit with that. It's just like
Well, we do, but I think that what my point is,
Yes.
the people are upset because they feel what? It is being overmanaged on a regular basis.
Absolutely. That's exactly it.
And how do you deny that?
It's hard not to.
Or how do you defend what AJ Hinch has done?
He's like over managing it. Sure. It's like with the talent he has, he's definitely over managing it. Like some of these guys he puts in time and time again. You're like, how many times do we have to see it go wrong? Before.
Well, but Drew Anderson has had some
success.
He's had some really good outings.
Times, yeah.
The 32 pitches, I looked this up. The 32 pitches, the
most
he had thrown in his last 5 appearances. So if you're going to look, the point is this: you want to make the change because Troy Melton and the third man through stuff, it just drives me absolutely insane. I don't think it makes any sense whatsoever. You want to do that, that's your thing. Okay, 4th time through the lineup, whatever. If it's pitch count, which again would drive me insane too, but if it's pitch count, why not the pitch count for Drew Anderson? I'm looking for a common denominator to try and understand where he's at.
Yeah, 32 pitches.
I can't find it.
And no, I mean that's where it's like, because also it's not like things were going great behind him either. You know what I mean? Like it probably was in his head a little bit once they scored the run there to tie it and stuff, and he's still stuck with them after that. It's just like you gotta imagine at that point, it's like, okay, even if it's not the pitch count, whatever else, we're just gonna make the change because he's clearly not gonna get us out of this because everything's just going wrong with him out there, and there's no feel for that. I feel like they
I agree with that. The feel is a really,
if they didn't get that, the questionable, I mean, he probably was out, I think, at second base with throwing him out. I still don't think they win the game yesterday. I feel like that run finds a way to score. But if he got to second base without getting thrown out, is what I'm talking about with Jake Rogers, and I forget who the winner was for New York. But
here's look, the bottom line is they win. Okay. How they get there, I suppose, shouldn't matter quite as much, but I understand. It wasn't something I'm dwelling on. I do understand why Tigers fans are getting pretty pissed off.
It does matter because there's a sample size of how many times they've lost games in the 7th, 8th inning or later. And it's not like that's going away at any time.
And maybe more importantly, why they've lost it. When you're going to guys, I know there are only certain arms you have in a bullpen. All right.
Yeah.
It's not never ending. You've got certain guys you're going to use. The question is, what was the starter, in this case, Troy Melton, who had allowed just 2 hits? It's not like they were roughing him up. It's not like he was getting bailed out by great plays. What was it about the starter that you saw that was concerning, that forced you to turn to another guy who had similar success? What did you see about him getting rid of him after 9 pitches? What is it you saw that was concerning, that forced you into using the right-hander Drew Anderson? So those are legitimate questions. They really are. Overall, Detroit, 11 games under 500. They're in Texas, who just lost to Cleveland, by the way. They're a game over 500. They've won 7 of 10. New York, in the meantime, there's an alarm going off right now in New York. They've lost 7 in a row, their longest skid in 3 years. They've been outscored mightily during that stretch. It's been awful. There are some changes for the Red Wings. There is some news in the NBA. There is a lot to get to. By the way, there is also a Tiger who has done something that only 2 others have ever done. And yet, and I was listening to a little bit of the Huge Show yesterday, and he said, I don't think Riley Green's the face of the franchise, but I'm going to give you some numbers that might change your mind. We'll do that when we come back here on X's and Bros. We're glad you're with us on a Tullymore Thursday. We're brought to you by our friend Mitch Lyons and MitchLyonsWealth.com.
The good life is firecracker savings at Meijer throughout the July 4th weekend. Load up your cart with summertime crowd pleasers like juicy burgers made with 80% lean ground beef. Now just $3.99 a pound on a 3-pound package or larger, limit 5. Sweeten your celebration with fresh favorites. Sweet corn, 4 for $1. And mini seedless watermelons or tender golden pineapples, buy one, get one for $1. Mix or match. Make the 4th your best yet with good life quality at real low prices. Only at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all
Huge here for all the ABC Warehouse locations in Michigan. Now, if you're looking for the best prices on TVs, furniture, appliances, mattresses, and more, you need to go to abcwarehouse.com. You can shop there and also shop in person at all ABC Warehouse locations across Michigan. For the one close to you, go to abcwarehouse.com. Best deals on TVs, appliances, furniture, and mattresses at all ABC Warehouse locations in Michigan.
Rod Stewart returns to Soaring Eagle Thursday, September 3rd. The Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series with special guest Richard Marx. Tickets start at $71 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. One last time, Rod Stewart with Richard Marx, September 3rd, SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Our state is Mecca for golf, and one of Michigan's crown jewels is Tullymore and St. Ives, 2 world-class championship courses in one charming and beautiful location. The golf is challenging but fair. You're going to use every club in your bag. But let me tell you what makes Tullymore really special. It's the people. From the wait staff to the bartenders to the pro shop and the management, their sole purpose is to give you a memorable experience, and they do. Go to TullymoreGolf.com today and experience a Michigan masterpiece.
Coming up later today at 3 on the Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
We just competed, and Cater came out and threw a great inning and just made some outs, and the guys were grinding through. We wanted this one, so it was really cool to get that one. He's bought in. It doesn't matter what role he's coming out. He's going in there to get outs, and he does a great job for us every time he's in there. Yeah, he just paints the corners, and he can get it done. I mean, we saw it last year in the playoffs. We've seen it early this year, and yeah, he's just a competitor, and he goes out there and gets it.
Zach McKinstry about Cater Montero and what Montero was able to do there in the 10th and 11th against the Yankees that allowed Detroit to get to the 6-2 win. McKinstry had one hit, and it came in that 11th inning to drive in two, extend that lead. There are a couple of different keys. New York goes to their bullpen. Aaron Boone's in trouble for sure, but
no doubt.
They go to their bullpen. Camilo Doval. They walk Hao-Yu Lee. It's 0-2 on him, and they walk him. They walk Spencer Torkelson, who's got one hit in his career against the bases loaded. I mean, the thing about Tigers starters, not Tigers pitching, but Tigers starters, what I love most, people will talk about strikeouts, they'll talk about velocity. I like the fact that they challenge hitters. Here, earn it. Excuse me. Isn't it funny how often you will talk to baseball people and they'll say, eventually, when you get to a conversation with them, the hardest thing in sports is to hit a baseball. That's what they'll say. And then pitchers will nibble. I just want a little bit of the edge. I want a little bit down in that zone. I want a little bit of this quadrant, all of this other stuff. Challenge them. That's what Skubal and Mize, and for the most part, Valdez, Melton does it for sure. Montero does it. I truly enjoy that part of I wish more pitchers would do that. Trust your stuff and trust your defense.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe that's part of it. Maybe some of them don't because the defense is not trustworthy.
Yeah, totally get that.
So here's what I said just prior to the break. There's a Tiger that has done something that nobody else has ever done, that only two other Tigers have ever done. And I get why, yesterday Bill Simonson said, I don't know if Riley Green is the face of this franchise or can be, in so many words. And I would say, if not him, who? I know what people are going to say, Kevin McGonigal. Riley Green has done something that only Al Kaline and Travis Fryman have ever done. They are the three players, Kaline, Fryman, and Green, who have hit more than 85 homers, scored more than 300 runs, and driven in more than 300 runs before the age of 26. Think about that for a minute. In Tigers franchise history that started in 1901, there's only three players who have ever had, before the age of 26, had more than 26 homers, more than 300 runs scored, and more than 300 runs driven in. Riley Green, Travis Fryman, Al Kaline. That's impressive. All right, we move on. The Red Wings. Now, I could be in the minority here. I have been underwhelmed with both the Red Wings and the Pistons offseason so far. Maybe you've got to ask yourself, what were you expecting? Like, if you thought the Pistons were going to go trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo, you were going to be disappointed. I didn't expect that at all. Red Wings have made a few changes. I will say this. What I like about what they've done is they've gotten tougher up front. Keegan Colasar, Vegas night. Red Wings trade for him. Physical forward. They give up a second and a seventh round pick. Who cares?
Yeah.
He's 29 years old. He's got 2 years left on a contract that pays him $2.5 million. It doesn't handcuff you. Doesn't score a lot. Logs only 12 minutes a game. Plays the game hard. It's something that they need.
I mean, yeah. He has over 270 hits, I think, or something like that last year. He was seventh in the league in hits. So
which I like.
Yeah,
I like that. They also need production. They also need scoring.
They do.
All right?
Yeah,
you're going to lose a guy who scored more than 30 goals every single year over the last 4 years. You're going to lose him, we all think.
Maybe.
You're not replacing him with a guy who had 12 goals a year ago or whatever it was. All right. The signing I really like is the Victor Arvidsson goal signing. 2 years, $5 million. He's 33, but plays really gritty. Here's the thing: he's going to be a second or a third liner. That's fine. Okay, you need those guys are important too. Could he be a top 6 forward? Probably not. Ideally, you'd have a third line. He's a third line guy, which means your top 6 is good. Of his 55 points last year, 45 of them came on 5-on-5. That's an important statistic.
Yep.
45 of his 55 points, which is not a lot of points, comes 5-on-5. So think about that for a minute. This is a team. I'm not saying they're going to win. They're in that division, and it's the toughest division in hockey. You could argue the toughest division in sports. This 55 points, he would have had what? Just above or just below, I should say, Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane's a top 6 on this team, unfortunately. So you had Alex DeBrincat, you had Lucas Raymond, you had Dylan Larkin, you had Mo Seider, you had Patrick Kane. Then you would have had, if he were a Red Wing and putting up those numbers, Victor Arvidsson. All right. In fact, only Nathan McKinnon and Nikita Kucherov had better numbers 5-on-5 per 60 minutes. Not the news show. Per 60 minutes on the ice, those are the only 2 better 5-on-5 numbers. Okay. And then they added Jacob Bryson on a 1-year contract, played 50 games, Winnipeg, Buffalo, averaged 12.5 minutes a game. It was a -8. There's nothing special there. They've signed free agent goalie Daniil Tarasov to a 1-year contract. He's going to back up John Gibson, which again goes to tell you, okay, all these great prospects.
All the great prospects.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, here we go again, right? All right. So it barely moves your needle. They get a couple of guys who play with a little bit more of an edge, which is great, but they need scoring. Desperately need scoring.
Yeah, do you see how much Sebastian Kosa got signed for in Utah?
I did not.
He got signed for $2 million on 2 years. He's probably going to be their backup.
Yeah, he's giddy today.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Didn't even get a chance here to play. And all we were told. Right. You want to talk about the definition of we've been told about the prospects and we haven't seen them. They saw something clearly to where they're paying them. I mean, obviously the cap. There's going to be a different cap this year in the NHL and stuff, but it's like still that's a pretty big contract for a guy that's never played in the NHL yet.
Yeah, for a team that made the playoffs last year.
Exactly.
Had the same amount of points as the Wings, had more wins, but had the same amount of points in the West, which was weaker. I get that, but he's going to be backing them up. And who's backing up Detroit? Oh, Tarasov now. Okay, that's your move. What would have been the problem with keeping Kosa as the backup and letting the other guys continue to marinate in the minors, which apparently they're going to allow that to happen anyway?
Yeah, it's remarkable.
I don't think if there's the biggest negative against Steve Yzerman, and we've given him credit for standing tight here on this whole Dylan Larkin situation. I think the biggest problem is he can't find a goalie to save his life. I mean, John Gibson's been decent. Okay, he's been okay. I liked the Max Talbot signing, quite honestly. It really hasn't worked out or didn't work out all that well. He's, for some reason or another, he can't seem to find the right goalie. Pistons have signed free agent John Collins. We told you that with Amari Sankofa on the air yesterday as it broke. $51 million over 3 years. He averaged 13.5 boards for the Clippers last year. Shot 55% from the floor, 41% from 3. Meanwhile, Tobias Harris is now a San Antonio Spur. He signed a 2-year deal worth $31 million. So it's 15.5. Would you have kept Tobias Harris here for those terms?
I mean, John Collins' stats, when you put them like side by side of Tobias's, and they're relatively similar, their statistics are definitely similar. I feel like you're just going younger with getting John Collins, and it's cheaper, and he was giving the same production that Tobias gave last year. So I don't mind that. It's just obviously
you not have more than one.
You can. That's why we still need to see the rest of the. We need to see the other shoe fall per se. Like we need to see what else he's going to do this offseason, because if this is the only move, and then Tobias goes to San Antonio and you just lose him, like that's probably a problem at that point. But. Well, I'm willing to let it play out still to see who else they add to this roster. But
yeah, remember Isaiah Joe. That's a big
a big ad, yeah, for sure.
All right.
Good 3-point shooting.
Here's my fear, and I think some Pistons fans feel the same way. My fear is that they're taking one guy off and replacing that guy. In other words, they're staying status quo.
Yes.
Sure, he's younger. Numbers are very similar. He's a better shooter, but numbers very similar. Tobias Harris out, John Collins in. Do you get better? You get younger, but production-wise, seemingly is the same, even though he's a better shooter. Could be the Clippers, playbook compared to the Pistons playbook. Maybe he'll average more points. Who knows? But on paper, that's what you see. You see a lateral move, right?
I agree. Yep.
Isaiah Joe, if you lose a guy like Duncan Robinson or somebody else of that ilk, you get Isaiah Joe. Is it a lateral move?
I
so
agree.
that's my fear.
That's why
right
I'm saying
now.
I have to see more still play out before I could say it was bad or good, because I don't mind these moves. Like, they're fine. It's just like, it's not the big. You still want to see something else. You want to.
Well, let's just use the common word. You want the splash.
Yeah.
And you haven't seen it yet.
Exactly.
Okay. Celtics, speaking of splash, Celtics trade Jaylen Brown to the Sixers for Paul George, 2 firsts and 2 seconds. Would you have given that much up? Let's say it was Tobias Harris, just for sake of argument. Would you have done that for Jaylen Brown?
I think so.
I would have, absolutely.
I think so. No doubt. Yeah.
100% I would have.
I am surprised the Celtics did that in general, in a way.
Yeah, he did not ask for a trade. Reports are that he did not ask for a trade. Think of this for a moment. Paul George has been traded for, you ready? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jaylen Brown, Domantas Sabonis, Victor Oladipo, and Danilo Gallinari. He's also been traded for 7 first-round picks, 4 pick swaps. That's incredible.
It's the haul that he has brought in off of trades is seriously unlike a lot of players I've ever seen before.
So here's when I read this, or when I saw this broken by ESPN, I was blown away that the Celtics would give him up. And I couldn't figure out why. Is it Jason Tatum? Is it an ego thing? Who knows, right? I didn't realize this. When Jaylen Brown did not play, the Celtics were 90-36. The last 3 seasons, they were 36-6. That's surprising. Then here's what Boston does. They go out and they sign Mitchell Robinson away from the Knicks on a 3-year, $47.5 million contract, which I think is a little much, personally. But bully for him to get it, right? Mitch Lyons' wealth poll question, as we mentioned, what does USA World Cup soccer win reaching the round of 16 do for you? I'm a new soccer fan now. I'm still not interested. I'm indifferent. Vote as often as you want. At XB Mornings, we give you the results in the 8 o'clock hour tomorrow when we are on the air. Let me get to a couple of texts. You can always join us in the chat as we stream live on YouTube, on X, and, of course, on Facebook as well. First text in this morning. When are Dingler and Jake Rogers going to stop with one leg on the ground with a runner on third? I've seen it 3 times this year. Won't be discussed because they won yesterday because of a great at-bat by Hayyu Lee. Yeah, I thought the waving of the glove by Jake Rogers on the passed ball, or I guess it was a wild pitch because it hit the dirt by Drew Anderson. I want to see, okay, here we go. I want to see sliding over. I was going to say Lance Parrish. Let's just use Salvador Perez. Let's use Yadier Molina. Let's use some guys recently. Let's use Pudge Rodriguez, who are sliding their body over. It's hard to do that if you're on one knee. I hate that with a passion. I'm with you on that. I'm surprised it's being taught. Within this system, I'm surprised it's being taught. I don't know the answer when they're going to stop. Shep did some homework yesterday. Cleveland has been selling off the last 2 years. If the Lions are serious about winning, they need to call on Denzel Ward. Yeah, what would it take to get Denzel Ward? That's the big question. So the easy thing to do, and I'm with you on that, it would be a nice pickup, but the easy thing to do is to say that's what they got to go get. What are you going to give up for a 5-time Pro Bowler at age 29. What are you going to do for that? Who goes out, and by the way, and does yeoman's work, okay? 2 years ago, he led the league in pass defended, all right? So he's going to – he's got plenty of interceptions in his career. He's got plenty of tackles. He's not afraid to go up and make tackles, so I have no issue with that whatsoever. What is it you would surrender for a guy who's going to be 29? Not that that's old, but in NFL cornerback terms, it's sure not young. What is it you're going to surrender for him? That's what I would have to ask.
Yeah, it's a good question. I guess it depends on how much you don't is your pass rush going to be better to make up for some of the problems in the secondary? You're going to try to rely on that, so you feel like you don't need to add anybody, but I feel like they need to add somebody in the secondary at this point, because your plans were to have Terry Arnold take a major step forward and be a huge part of this team. So you got to look somewhere else, it feels like. So I'd be willing to part with a higher end draft pick probably to get somebody like that, because he's proven to be effective. And I don't think 29 is that old.
No, here's the problem. So 2 years left on a contract that I think paid him more than $100 million. That's number one. So can you fit him under the cap and things like that? The concussion problem he's had. Now, remember, I'm trying not to be too sensitive to this, but what we get from Lions fans a lot is that how are you drafting guys out of college who have been injured? Am I wrong there? Tell me when I'm wrong.
No, that's definitely been a thing people talk about on a regular basis with the Lions.
Okay. Now he's got a history. Remember this. He's got a history of concussions. You get a guy like that. Sorry, it's really important in a sport like this. Although he did start 15 games last year. You get a guy who has never started a full season. Never. I mean, 2 years ago, he started 16 games, which is great, but missed a game. I'm not going to crucify him or say I wouldn't want him because of that. I'm just giving you facts, okay? A history of concussion issues. What happens when you're on the hook for that kind of thing? Right? Think about it. Now, could Cleveland be swayed by a strong offer? I mean, if you're willing to deal Myles Garrett, you would think Denzel Ward would have a price as well. Okay. Ward's cap hit in Cleveland this year is nearly $31 million. They could save about 17.5 if they dealt him. All right. So Detroit, I think, has like 18.5 million of cap space. It's something I would definitely consider. I'm sure they have considered too. Okay. We got to take a quick time out. This is one of the faster hours we've had here on X's and Bros. When we come back, there's a lot to get to. I do want to get into some of the basketball moves. I do want to talk. I got some interesting, I think, topics regarding the Detroit Lions, and this is a good jumping off point. We're glad you're with us on a Tullamore Thursday. We're brought to you by Mitch Lyons Wealth.
The stock market goes up and then it goes down. It's fine while you're saving for retirement, but as you get closer to retirement, it can cause stress. Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. In my NFL days, this season could be a real roller coaster and a lot of fun, but roller coasters in retirement aren't as much fun. Do world events have you wondering if your retirement is safe? Will your money last even if the stock market were to take a dive? Have you had your retirement account stress tested to see what kind of risk you're actually taking? Let's not leave your retirement to chance. Hope is not a plan. Contact the pros at Mitch Lyons Wealth today and put us to work for you. Let's ensure your plan works even if the stock market doesn't. Text PLAN, P-L-A-N, to 844-867-8335. That's PLAN to 844-867-8335. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. Investment advisory services are offered through MLW Advisory Services, LLC, DBA Mitch Lyons Wealth, a registered investment advisor.
Huge here for the Carmody Brothers and all the Buffalo Wild Wings locations in Michigan. They have some huge deals happening every week. Buy one boneless wing, get one free every Thursday. They also have their bottomless appetizers. Groups can get bottomless apps starting at $9.99, and they also have the Pick Six meal for two. Get 2 entrees, 2 sides, and 2 drinks starting at $19.99. That's happening at all Buffalo Wild Wings locations in Michigan. Huge deals every week. Huge here for my good friend Josh Garvey and the team at Dorn Mayhew, West Michigan, one of the world's top accounting, CPA, and business firms. Our worldwide headquarters are in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state. And Josh and his team connect with all the sports fans and businesses across Michigan. They bring you John Beeline on the Huge Show. They bring you Lomas Brown during the Lion season. They are a top shelf team when it comes to growth and understanding what their clients need. And mix in when we do the Beat Huge contests or the NCAA March Madness brackets. Thank you, Josh Garvey, for what you do for the Huge Show and the Michigan Sports Network. Simple and easy. Just find Dorn Mayhew on all the social networks or just Google Dorn Mayhew and find out how they can help your business. And again, a special thanks to Josh Garvey and the Dorn Mayhew team in West Michigan.
Celebrate the soul of folk and Americana. The Lumineers Automatic World Tour comes to Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort Sunday night, July 19th, with special guest Josiah and the Bonnevilles, part of the Soaring Eagle Outdoor Summer Concert Series. Tickets start at $67 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.com. Showtime 8 p.m. See the Lumineers live with Josiah and the Bonnevilles, July 19th at Soaring Eagle Casino, SoaringEagleCasino.com.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to Shep. Don't forget the Huge Show later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
Okay, back with you here on X's and Bros. Thanks for being with us. This is kind of an interesting little tease and / quiz for you. Ready? I was reading something on social media the other day after the Jaylen Brown trade to Philadelphia, after the Miami acquisition of Giannis Antetokounmpo and Tim Hardaway Jr., after the Boston Celtics signing of Mitchell Robinson and the trade for Paul George. I'm going to give you the starting 5 for these teams, and you tell me who has the best. Ready? We'll just go last names. Sixers: Maxey, Edgecombe, Brown, Wade, Embiid. Pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Boston: White, Pritchard, Tatum, George, Robinson. The Knicks, the defending champions: Brunson, Hart, Bridges, Anunoby, Towns. Cleveland: Harden, Mitchell, Strus, Mobley, Allen. Miami: Mitchell, Hardaway Jr., Wiggins, Antetokounmpo, Adebayo. This was sent out by DraftKings, which I find interesting because they want to know what the best lineup in the Eastern Conference is after the Sixers acquired Jaylen Brown. The one team who's not in there is the team that have more wins than anybody else in the East. What does that tell you? What does that, from a
maybe they don't
perspective, say something?
Maybe they don't know what their starting lineup is right now.
Well, I think we could deduct. Jalen Duren's still on this team. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Could you not deduct that it's Cade Cunningham, Asar Thompson, John Collins, Jalen Duren, Isaiah Joe?
Yeah, that'd be your starting 5.
Mitchell Robinson was picked up by the Knicks, or I should say by the Celtics. Is he a starter? He wasn't a starter in New York last year. Is he a starter now? That's what they've assumed. At least that's what they put on that graphic. I thought it was pretty interesting. I just wanted to get your thoughts.
It is, but you said they picked the best one, or like which one they thought was the best?
They're asking people who's got the best starting lineup. And they did not include any Pistons in that.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, who do you think's the best out of that lineup? I would probably go with Miami just off of names. I like Miami's a lot. Yep.
Okay. So for me, that would be the last.
Okay.
Okay. I actually think Cleveland. I think with Mitchell, Strus shooting from the outside, Mobley and Allen. I like the Mobley and Allen thing. The Harden thing, regular season, it's hard to deny that.
Yeah, sure.
But Philly, if Embiid can stay healthy,
I could definitely see Philly. They're the top with me too. They'd be number 2.
Yeah.
So
Maxey, Edgecombe, Brown. I think that's an incredible trio.
Yeah, they're really good.
And then of course, the Knicks would say, "What's wrong with ours? All we did was set record-setting numbers in the postseason." So
I'm just going with my feel on Miami. I just think
cool.
I think with the switch for Giannis, I think that's going to do something for him. I just think it's going to bring something back. I think he was ready to get out of Milwaukee for a while, and I think that the switch and the fresh start might do something. So,
yeah, no, I think a lot of people understand where you're coming from in that regard. I guess the issue I have, like Tim Hardaway Jr. was really good for Detroit last year. Was a little bit of a struggle for him. I think you miss a guy like Norman Powell, Andrew Wiggins. Okay. I think they'll miss a Tyler Hero. You got to give up something to get something. I totally understand that. I just don't feel it besides Adebayo and Antetokounmpo right now for them. So we'll see what happens.
Where would the Pistons rank for you if they were in there?
Yeah, probably 4th.
I'm in the same
probably
spot.
4th.
So
yeah. So let's hope that it's going to be even better than that, because maybe they
had one more big piece. I'll feel a lot different about it. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I think there is something to be said for that. I think there's going to be I don't think they're going into camp with this roster. Let's put it that way. Who that next addition is, I'm not sure, but I don't think it's what we're talking about right now. I read this on ESPN yesterday, 10 predictions for the upcoming NFL season. So, for example, when somebody had texted us yesterday, or when somebody told me yesterday, 2 days ago, I expect Aiden Hutchinson with 20 sacks. And I laughed. And we told you how many has Myles Garrett had? 1. How many did TJ Watt have? 2. How many did JJ Watt have? Or no, TJ Watt had 1. JJ Watt had 2. It's not as easy as people think. One of the predictions is Myles Garrett will hit 20 sacks. That could be. He's got some pretty good supporting cast around him. Another is Dak Prescott's going to be the 10th quarterback in history to throw for 5,000 yards in a season. Of course, Matthew Stafford did that once as well. But I was looking through this and I thought, okay, is there anything about the Lions? If you had to make a bold prediction, like a prediction that not many people would make. So for example, the Saints are going to win the NFC South. The Vikings are going to win the NFC North. These are the bold predictions. There is one about the Lions. What would that be? That's a very vague request on my part. But here's what ESPN wrote. Sam Laporta will get traded to the Panthers. And it said, every time I look at the Lions roster and cap sheet, I come away thinking they should trade Laporta. Now, I think somebody texted us that yesterday. Might have been Freddie.
Yeah, it's a pretty common topic, I think. If people had to get rid of a person, it's going to probably be him at tight end.
I think I told you this. I had some people tell me who are close to Laporta's camp that he has actually gone around and said, I don't see how they can afford me. The Lions have 3 big potential extensions coming down the mountain. Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Branch, and Laporta. Those 3, along with already extended Jack Campbell, are the team's first 4 picks of 2023 that jump-started this era of Lions football, and all are deserving of big fat deals. Remember, I'm not saying every player should be like this, but I just want you to remember, Jack Campbell took less than he could have gotten. Does that mean all these other guys will? No, it does not. Lions fans would be a little tentative in extending Brian Branch because of injuries and maybe a couple of incidents on the field of play, especially in Green Bay.
Yeah.
I think they would be very tentative because of the history of running backs to extend a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs. I know that sounds sacrilegious. I know there's a lot of people, including some friends of mine who I had dinner with a couple of nights ago at that DAC event for Oakland University, who would think that's blasphemous. I would remind you that a year ago, 2 years ago, everyone talks about the Saquon Barkley year in Philadelphia when he rushed for 2,005 yards. They won the Super Bowl. He had 345 carries that year. Do you understand that? 345. That is that led the league. That is a ridiculous amount. Okay, that is more than just relying on him. That is him carrying you. When Barry Sanders rushed for 2,000 yards, and that was in 1997, he had 335 carries. Last year, Saquon Barkley played the same number of games, had 280 carries, and rushed for 1,100 yards. That's not a lot of yards in today's world of the NFL. 14-game season it is. 16-game season it ain't. So that's where you got to be really careful. And when you start thinking about Jahmyr Gibbs, and I know he's a little different because he's a younger guy and has not had those number of carries. Most carries he ever had was 2 years ago when he had 250. So I think people will be a little nervous about that. And the same thing with Sam Laporta, considering you play more than one tight end, and one tight end making the amount of money that some of them can make can really offset your spreadsheet. Our phone number, by the way, on the Meyer hotline is 866-838-4843. Text us Sports Radio 21000. This is X's and Bros on a Tullymore Thursday, brought to you by Meyer.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com. Huge here for the incredible Crystal Mountain Resort in Thompsonville, Michigan. If you've never experienced the mountain, it's unbelievable. They offer up 36 holes of championship golf, Betsy Valley, Mountain Ridge, accommodations, a ton of choices. Go to crystalmountain.com, see everything for yourself. One of the top spas in America. They can handle businesses, small groups, big groups, your buddies, the ladies, and more. Book your getaway now at crystalmountain.com. That's crystalmountain.com. What's up, Michigan? You're listening to my good friend Shep. The Huge Show is coming up later today at 3, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Dean, after the hour, welcome back. Answer this question. The other day we were talking about a CBS Sports poll that had Jahmyr Gibbs as the third best running back, if you remember, right? Number one was Bijan Robinson, then it was Christian McCaffrey, then it was Jahmyr Gibbs. We could debate that, but I think
it's the general consensus top three.
Yeah, I think so. I think most people would say absolutely. Most of us would concur. All right, that they're the three. How you shuffle them might depending on your allegiance to your team. If you didn't have Jahmyr Gibbs, would you mind having Christian McCaffrey in your offensive backfield? Hell no.
I mean, yeah.
That doesn't mean that you would take him over Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm just saying you wouldn't mind having him.
Yeah,
he's an unbelievable weapon. He's one of the best running backs of his generation. I'm not going to go so far as to say that he is a Hall of Fame player, but do you like him as a player? If you don't, I don't know what you're looking for in a football player. I really don't. Forget the Pro Bowls for a minute. 3-time All-Pro, okay? Offensive Player of the Year, whatever, okay? He does everything that a running back that you would want in a running back. Gets tough yards, is, for the most part, I mean, he's missed some time with some injuries for sure, but when he's healthy, he's durable. I mean, he gets after it. He runs between the tackles. He can bounce it to the outside. And, of course, he's one of the best receiving running backs of all time. He had 102 rocks last year. Think about that for a minute. Last year, Christian McCaffrey was so important. They're not just handing him the football. They're doing that on a regular basis. He had 311 carries. Okay? On top of that, he's out there catching over 100 passes. Put that in perspective for a minute. Receptions-wise, how many players had 100 catches or more last year? Any idea?
7. I was going to say it's probably not over 10.
7. Puka Nacua, Trey McBride, Jamar Chase, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Christian McCaffrey, and Chris Olave. Those 7 guys. And you notice there's only one tight end, which might be another reason on why the Sam Laporta argument is valid, that you might think about trading him. All right? Anyway, so we brought up the running backs. I know, sorry, it's a long way, but I just, sometimes it's good to have that type of background regarding Christian McCaffrey. Yesterday, a website came out with CBS Sports, the most dynamic wide receiver duo in the National Football League. So I asked you the other day where you think Jahmyr Gibbs was. You said number 2 to Bijan Robinson. You were close. Who is Detroit's wide receiver duo, and where do they rank?
It's got to be Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Right? Mm-hmm. And then where do they rank?
Where would they rank?
I'll give them 7th.
Okay. Who would be number 1 in your mind?
That's what I was trying to think of on the other part of it there. I'm trying to remember if T. Higgins is still a Bengal, right?
T. Higgins is still a Bengal.
So I would take Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, number 1.
They are number 1, according to CBS Sports. All right. Chase, 125 rocks a year ago. Amazing.
You can't deny it. I mean, what Jamar Chase does with Joe Burrow out there, and T. Higgins is he would be a 1 on a lot of teams, I feel like. So,
yeah, I mean, 1,400 yards for Jamar Chase. I think the touchdowns can be a little misleading sometimes. Who you're playing with, the quarterback you're paired with might be a little bit of an issue. Anyway, he is still considered, I think, the best wide receiver in the league. Maybe Puka Nacua is, but Jamar Chase is in the conversation. He and T. Higgins, number 1. Number 2, who do you think?
I don't think they would go Jefferson Addison, right? That's probably going to be a little further down the list. I was just wondering how much weight they put into Justin Jefferson.
It's an NFC team. They've got Dallas.
CeeDee
Lamb
Lamb
and George
Pickens. Okay. I mean, I get that one. Yeah.
Remember a few years ago, CeeDee Lamb had 135 rocks. All right. So they got CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Number 3, another NFC team.
I'm just trying to think of who plays with JSN, but I can't think of it for some reason.
Think of the Rams.
Oh,
Puka
Nacua.
Nakua and
Okay.
Devontae Adams.
Yep, that makes
All right.
sense. A lot of sense.
All right. And Jackson Smith and Jigba it's Rashid Shaheed would be the other guy.
Okay.
Number 4 is the Detroit Lions.
Oh, okay.
They've got Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams. Here's what they write. St. Brown is arguably the best in the NFL playing from the slot since he entered the league. He has 52 more receptions when lined up inside than the next closest player. Interesting. He also finished 2nd, 3rd, and 1st in each of the categories of yards and touchdowns as well. Okay. He's plenty good working on the perimeter as well, but the reason this duo works so well together is because of the way Amon-Ra St. Brown dominates the slot and Williams stretches the field both vertically and horizontally from the outside. Williams got off to a slow start for his career thanks to an injury, then a gambling suspension, but he's become one of the best big play threats in the NFL over the last 2 years, averaging in excess of 17 yards per catch in each season, totaling more than 1,000 yards each time, despite combining for only 193 targets in each of those 2 years. So big play capability. I guess my question to you is, would you put them above the other 3?
Well, it's hard to argue Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua just because of how good Puka is in pretty much every part of the field and Devontae's touchdowns. And so, I mean, I'm still taking him probably inside the 5-yard line to run a route over most receivers in the NFL. So I totally get that one. I've already explained to you why I like T. Higgins and Jamar Chase.
Mm-hmm.
I
guess the only knock on Adams would be his age, right?
Yeah, sure. He's getting up there, no doubt. I mean, he's not great in any other part of the field, but I do think you have to take into account how many times that play was so effective. And maybe that's Matt Stafford too, being a great quarterback, the timing and everything there. But yeah, I mean, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, I could make an argument. I think that maybe the Lions combo is better than those two. I don't know how many times we even saw them play together last year. I'm pretty sure CeeDee was out for a while, and then Pickens kind of just took over and was the guy. I don't know. I'm trying to think of how well they actually played together or how much they even played together.
CeeDee Lamb has played through some injuries, but he's still got 176 catches over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. He's still got over
20. CeeDee Lamb's a great player. Yards. Not taking anything away from him.
He is. And Pickens is,
Yeah, that's your 2. That's think good too.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 1 on a lot of teams.
Exactly, that's the thing. And
is Jamison Williams a 1 on a lot of teams? If he's the number 2 on Detroit, is he a number 1 elsewhere? Because here's how I look at it. T. Higgins could be a 1. Pickens could be a 1. Devontae Adams used to be a 1. If he's now 33, he's probably a 1 for a lot of people, and a touchdown machine inside the red zone. But at age 33, I would probably put Detroit ahead of the Rams.
Fair.
And that's about it.
I get it too with that.
Okay. And that's a big if because of how good Nakua is, and he's only 25, and the scoring machine that is Devontae Adams.
Well, I think people are looking for Jamison Williams to kind of have that year this year that maybe, he becomes one of those guys that could be a 1 on other teams. Because I feel like last year at times it felt like he was really taking some big steps forward.
Okay. I don't know, man. I think most people feel like he's right where he probably should be when you're on a team with Amon-Ra St. Brown. 1,000 yards each of the last 2 years. 7 touchdowns in each of the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that he's going to overtake Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm saying that it's like, exactly. Like, can he be a George Pickens? Where you're saying that George Pickens could go anywhere to a lot of other teams and be a 1. Can Jamison Williams be that guy? Because that's where you draft him to be, really. I mean,
exactly right. It wouldn't be 5. It wouldn't be the Vikings because they've got Jefferson and Addison. That was the number 5 rated duo. Jalen Waddle and Cortland Sutton at number 6. A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs at 7. And Jackson Smith and Jigba and Rashid Shaheed at 8. The most surprising one who didn't make it. We'll talk about that on the other side here on X's and Bros on a Tully Moore Thursday brought to you by Meyer.
Farrah's Coffee has been family-owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual. Our state is Mecca for golf, and one of Michigan's crown jewels is Tullymore and St. Ives, two world-class championship courses in one charming and beautiful location. The golf is challenging but fair. You're going to use every club in your bag. But let me tell you what makes Tullymore really special. It's the people. From the wait staff to the bartenders to the pro shop and the management, their sole purpose is to give you a memorable experience, and they do. Go to TullymoreGolf.com today and experience a Michigan masterpiece.
Rod Stewart returns to Soaring Eagle Thursday, September 3rd. The Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series with special guest Richard Marx. Tickets start at $71 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. One last time, Rod Stewart with Richard Marx, September 3rd. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sports Net. Sign up like the Huge Show did with the Detroit Sports Net Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
No, we're getting better. I mean, obviously we had a very productive June. I love how July started, and obviously we knew that coming into this place, it's always a difficult place to play, and we played relaxed. We played fairly clean. We were able to execute some really good at-bats, and we walk out of here with a sweep. Now we're going to go get a new opponent after a happy flight and continue to take steps forward. When you go into these series, you want to take a step forward, not a step sideways, and this was a big step forward.
E.J. Hinch following his team's series sweep of the New York Yankees. Welcome back. X's and BrO's Monday through Friday, 6 until 9 on the Michigan Sports Network on a Tullymore Thursday, and we're brought to you by Meyer. We've talked a lot about the starting pitching, by the way. We're on a football kick here, and we'll continue that here in a moment. But the starting pitching has been the reason. Let me ask you about one specific player, and I know people oftentimes will roll their eyes because they think that, I think the guy can do no wrong and all this other stuff. But how important is availability to you? If you're in the sports world and you got a guy who is going to play for you every day, is that important to you? I mean, he's going to play every inning of every game.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. The Tigers have played 87 games, right? 87. Who do you think on this team has been the most reliable? Who's been the most reliable player?
Just the pitchers or players?
Players in general.
Riley Green's played in every game. I'm pretty sure besides like one.
He's played in every game but one. Yeah. Torkelson has played in every game but one, too. Doesn't have the numbers Riley Green has.
Yeah, reliable.
It's really not even close. Yeah. Although Torkelson's got 14 homers, which I don't know how much is enough for people. But
that's where availability is a big thing. But you obviously still have to be productive at the same time for it to even matter. But
yes, yeah. Only Dylan Dingler has more total bases than Riley Green. Riley Green ranks 25th in all of baseball in terms of batting average at 285. He ranks in the top 30 in OPS, which is really important. Doesn't have McGonigal's WAR, wins above replacement, which is like 4.5. Riley Green's close to a 2, which is an all-star player. The reason I ask that is because I'm not sure we appreciate him as much. I don't think he's a superstar. I do think he is an all-star type player. Does that mean you are a star? I think all-star nods in baseball are a lot more meaningful than all-star nods.
Well, and if you make it, what would this be, his third straight year being an all-star? I mean, you can't. Again, this goes to the fact that Riley Green is just one of the most underappreciated, not just athletes in our area, like in this Michigan with our 4 teams, but it's also like it feels like in the major leagues. Like, I mean, sure, he makes the all-star game, but I mean, every year he's been one of the best outfielders for the last 3 years now. You got to appreciate that a little more, I feel like.
I would think so. I think he has been overshadowed by his strikeouts.
Yep, 100%. That's what's definitely brought him down a notch.
Yeah, that's what we gravitate toward. I'm not saying we're a negative society and we only look at the bad things, but certain situations define you, perhaps in life. And I think the whole situation with Riley Green's strikeouts last year defined him, fair or unfair. I think it's unfairly so.
Definitely unfair. I mean, I don't know I'm pretty sure with his walk total, don't quote me on the number because I definitely don't know the exact number, but I think he's almost to his career high this season, and we're only in July with like walks in a season.
Yeah, so he has 45. He has 45 free passes, which is one fewer than he had all of last year.
It's an improvement. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you got to notice
big time.
That.
He's not close to his career high. His career high is 64.
Oh, okay.
But he'll get there.
Yeah.
I think what you're thinking about, he's almost matched the number of walks. And it's interesting. He still has 97 punch outs, which is probably too many for people. But it is the way the league is played today. You don't like it. I don't like it either. But that's the way the league is. Many people just kind of forget about the strikeouts if you are productive. You've seen what Kyle Schwarber's on pace for, right? He's going to have well over 200 strikeouts. That doesn't matter to anybody. If I asked you right now, who's the best home run hitter in baseball? it's Kyle Schwarber, right? Without a doubt. If you're looking at every single position in the world of baseball, Kyle Schwarber has 30 home runs.
You're not going to argue that.
I don't think many people would know that Hunter Goodman is second in all of baseball in homers with 27. Would you have known that?
No.
Probably not.
Right. A shot.
So Kyle Schwarber also has 127 strikeouts so far this year. That's a lot, dude. James Wood had more than 200 a year ago. James Wood has 125. He still has fewer than Kyle Schwarber. And he also has 22 home runs, by the way. Schwarber gets the free pass is probably unfair. He gets forget about the strikeouts because of the home run production. All right. He's also batting 250. Is that enough? He's a DH. His job is what? To hit the ball out of the ballpark. We don't know what Riley Green's job is because he's not a home run hitter. So people don't want him as a strikeout hitter.
I mean, he's got good,
but he's got
power. I mean,
he's got the average power.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit above average.
Like this year, he hasn't, bombed him out like he has in what he hit last year.
He had 36 homers last year.
I was going to say 36 is what I'm pretty sure the number was. So.
That led the team as a career high for him. He had 24 the year before.
That's the other part I'm going to say. I'm not going to give this, it's not an excuse or anything like that. But, I feel like people are so hard on him. It's like guys like Kyle Schwarber that strike out that much and have all these power numbers, or other hitters that are good in other lineups. Like, who has Riley Green really had around him in this lineup to, make him be able to get better pitches in the zone all the time? Like, I feel like people can do whatever they want to him because they've never had any kind of protection around him in the lineup either. So that's kind of I'm not using it as an excuse, because again, you got to be better than how many strikeouts he had last year. I feel like he's made a really good improvement on that this season on his own. And if he had better hitters around him, his numbers would probably be even better in that category because he'd be seeing better pitches to hit.
Would you rather him have 201 strikeouts, which led the American League last year, and 36 bombs, or 156 strikeouts and 24 homers, which is what he had the year before?
It's tough. I don't know.
Unfortunately, you got to live with the strikeouts.
Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
My point is, as a Silver Slugger, a two-time All-Star, the other numbers don't get discussed as much. So the batting average. Why? Because a lot of people feel like we're moving away from batting average. We're looking at OPS. Well, the OPS is really good. I just had to bring that up. I thought it was interesting. Okay.
No, I get it for sure. I mean, there's I think he's just, people thought because of where he's drafted at that he's supposed to be whatever he's supposed to be. I think he's turned into a really good major league player, and people should just learn to kind of accept that. I don't understand why they can't.
Because they've made up their mind.
Yes, that's the truth more than anything else.
It's going to be really hard to change your mind. Another player who is maybe similar to that might be Jared Goff. And the reason I say that, and I think a lot of people, how do we define Jared Goff? This is always a fascinating game I play with anybody. And people could say it with me too, because I don't think we're too indifferent from one another. Tell me how you define Jared Goff. Well, most people would say a good arm and a guy who can't run, right? I mean, he's a pocket passer. He needs protection to do his job.
He's got to have help for sure.
Is there another quarterback who doesn't need help?
No, not many. I mean, it's you could argue like Josh Allen.
I guess. Yeah, but both of them are knocked because they don't win.
Yes.
Sure. Yep. Allen's got an MVP and Jackson's got 2, but do they win? Besides division titles, do they win in the playoffs? That's how they're defined. Justin Herbert, how's he defined? Hasn't won a playoff game, right? Brock Purdy, how's he defined? Mr. Irrelevant? I don't know. But Jared Goff is defined as a guy who needs help, needs protection. I don't know any quarterback in the history of the sport who didn't need protection. But because he can't move, he's not mobile enough for people. This is the list of quarterbacks with at least 30 passing touchdowns, 3,500 passing yards, and a 60% completion percentage in each of the last 3 years. So each of the last 3 years, this group of quarterbacks has completed at least 60% of their passes, thrown for at least 3,500 yards, and thrown at least 30 touchdowns. Who do you think's in the list? I gave a little bit of away. Jared Goff. Who else is in the list?
I would probably go with Patrick. Well, no, because Mahomes was hurt last year.
Mahomes was hurt last
be.
year. Exactly right. 3,500 yards.
Matt Stafford.
At least 3,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 60% completion percentage.
I'd say Matt Stafford.
Okay.
Is that not one of them?
Remember, each of the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So, for example, Dak Prescott in 2024 got hurt. I'm picking and choosing rather carefully.
It's tough to remember 3 years in a row.
I know it is. I know it is. Matthew Stafford has the yards. Okay. Matthew Stafford does not have the touchdowns.
Okay.
Even though he threw a league high 46 a year ago, he threw 20 the year before and 24 the year before that. He's got the completion percentage. He's got the yards. He doesn't have the touchdowns.
Yeah, Kyron Williams got a lot of goal line touchdowns for that.
Yeah, so it's a good guess. There isn't a list. It's Jared Goff only.
That's fair. That's why it's probably so hard to think of.
In fact, I brought up Dak Prescott, and here's the reason I brought him up. He's the only other quarterback to accomplish that in even 2 of the last 3 seasons. Okay? But he couldn't do it 3 straight years. Goff has exceeded 4,500 yards, 67% completion percentage, and 30 passing touchdowns in each of the last 3 years. I lowered the bar for him. I gave you a bar of 3,500. Jared Goff has done it at a higher rate than 3,500. He's done it at 4,500.
And sure,
think about that. In 2023, he completed 67% of his passes, threw for over 45, closer to 4,600 yards, and 30 scores.
Now you can say too that the Lions have like good talent around him and everything else, and that's part of the reason.
Everybody does.
Sure, but
Matthew Stafford has this good. Hold on one second. Then
I got you. Yeah.
And then 2 years ago, it was 4,600 yards, and it was 37 touchdowns with a completion percentage of 72.5. And then last year, it was a 68% completion percentage, 4,500 yards, and 34 touchdowns. Andy, he is 1 touchdown away from doing it 4 consecutive years. Because in 2022, he threw for 4,400 yards, completed 65%, and threw for 29 touchdowns. 1 touchdown away from doing something no quarterback. He's already done it the last 3, but no quarterback has done it for 4 straight. He was 1 touchdown away. Go ahead.
No, it's unbelievably impressive. But that's the thing is a lot of people will still argue that the Lions have all this talent around them and everything else. The thing that I would argue is, okay, you're going to say Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs is a receiving running back, I guess. Then obviously Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams. And while they're all great and they did have a good offensive line, all those players got good with Jared Goff. Like they all came into the league with like those guys. Their quarterback was Jared Goff. I think that says something too. You can't just ignore that fact as well. Like sure, they're great players, but would they really be this good if they were playing on, I don't know, the Jets or another team that didn't have a great quarterback like Jared Goff? So I think it just backs up the point even more that he can be good with a lot of different, pieces.
Yes, people used to say the same thing about Matthew Stafford when he was here in Detroit. They said that look at all the weapons he has around him, primarily Calvin Johnson. My response to that was always best year of his career for Golden Tate, Matthew Stafford was quarterback. Best year of his career for Nate Burleson was Matthew Stafford. Brandon Pettigrew set 2 Lions tight ends records because of Matthew Stafford. Like we always look at, and this is what I love about being a team sport, Calvin Johnson, first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greatest tight ends in history, or one of the greatest wide receivers in history. you still have to have somebody throwing him the football. Is he putting up those numbers if John Kitna is his trigger? Probably not.
Exactly.
And is Matthew Stafford throwing for as many yards if Chris Durham is his wide receiver, not Calvin Johnson? Probably not. So that's okay. They help one another. If you don't think James Worthy helped Magic Johnson, that it was only Magic Johnson helping James Worthy, you're crazy. But we view it oftentimes as the superstar compared to the one guy who might be a star instead of a superstar, or the best at their position. The reason Calvin Johnson is viewed as that is because he was arguably the best wide receiver in the league. Was that ever the case with Matthew Stafford as the quarterback with the Detroit Lions? The answer to that is no. It was last year with him with the Rams, which is why he solidified his Hall of Fame stature, because he was now viewed as the best at his position, the best at what he did. Calvin Johnson was often viewed as that. I don't think that's the case with Matthew Stafford until at least last year.
The point being is that any of these quarterbacks need help. Like, they're not going to, you can't just like expect, nobody goes out there and wins a Super Bowl without, there's very, very few examples. I mean, I guess you could, the Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady thing, sure, they probably bring a little bit more than anybody. And Patrick Mahomes has had not the greatest names around him for some of his Super Bowls. I get it, but not everybody's going to get Patrick Mahomes, right? That's not who you're going to draft. So your job as an organization is to build around a guy who can win. And I definitely think you can win with Jared Goff. There's no question about it in my mind. But
there's no question about it in my mind either. It's not like you went to a lab and you built yourself the type of quarterback and Jared Goff comes out. That doesn't mean you can't win with him, because you wouldn't go into a lab and build Drew Brees either. You wouldn't go into a lab necessarily and build Jalen Hurts, and yet they've both won Super Bowls, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I saw something yesterday that I was blown away with that ESPN allowed to air. We'll get to that here in a minute via text. Shep, Tony Clark had a pretty decent career as well, numbers-wise. Nothing special, just decent. Well, Tony Clark, who played for the Tigers for a period of time, was a Tiger draft pick, was a first-round choice, second in the 1990 draft, by the way. Tony Clark never hit 36 home runs like Riley Green did. Tony Clark just twice in his career hit 285 or better. Had some decent OPS numbers. Was a one-time All-Star. Never won a Silver Slugger. Played for a long time. He was a decent player. Riley Green's a much better player than Tony Clark ever was. So I don't know if that's what the suggestion is. Did he live up to his draft status? Absolutely not. Tony Clark was taken second in the draft. You know who number one was that year? Chipper Jones. Oh, boy. Just missed. We're back with more after this on a Tell Me More Thursday, brought to you by Meyer.
The stock market goes up and then it goes down. It's fine while you're saving for retirement, but as you get closer to retirement, it can cause stress. Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. In my NFL days, the season could be a real roller coaster and a lot of fun, but roller coasters in retirement aren't as much fun. Do world events have you wondering if your retirement is safe? Will your money last even if the stock market were to take a dive? Have you had your retirement account stress tested to see what kind of risk you're actually taking? Let's not leave your retirement to chance. Hope is not a plan. Contact the pros at Mitch Lyons Wealth today and put us to work for you. Let's ensure your plan works even if the stock market doesn't. Text PLAN, P-L-A-N, to 844-867-8335. That's PLAN to 844-867-8335. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. Investment advisory services are offered through MLW Advisory Services, LLC, DBA Mitch Lyons Wealth, a registered investment advisor.
The good life is firecracker savings at Meijer throughout the July 4th weekend. Load up your cart with summertime crowd pleasers like juicy burgers made with 80% lean ground beef. Now just $3.99 a pound on a 3-pound package or larger, limit 5. Sweeten your celebration with fresh favorites. Sweet corn, 4 for $1. And mini seedless watermelons or tender golden pineapples, buy one, get one for $1. Mix or match. Make the 4th your best yet with good life quality at real low prices. Only at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Van Andel Institute Purple Community is a grassroots fundraising network powered by the dedicated volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve human health now and in the future. When you raise funds through the Van Andel Institute Purple Community, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Institute's research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's, as well as VAI's science education programs. Learn how you can get involved at purplecommunity.org.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to my good friend Shep. The Huge Show is coming up later today at 3, right here on the Michigan Sports Network. Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
Final hour of the program. Thanks for being with us here on X's and Bros on this Tullymore Thursday. You can text us, Sports Radio 21,000. You can join us in the chat as we stream live on X, on YouTube, and on Facebook. And you can call us on the Meyer hotline, 866-838-4843. Our friend Freddie texts in, Shep, I had coaches come into my restaurant from the Houston Astros this past weekend, and we talked about certain players. The first thing they said to me is, what happened to Riley Green? He looks like he's 35 years old. I'm sure a lot of that has to do with the way he runs. That's one of the things that people are never going to get away from when it comes to Riley Green, right? How he runs more than anything else.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I always laugh at like all the pictures that people have gotten of his eyes and they're wide open, man. I don't know what's going on with that either.
I don't either. I can't explain it. Let me get to a couple of texts, a couple more texts. And then I think it's interesting. I brought up the CBS wide receiver duo. SI came out with another duo on the other side of the ball. And I want to talk about that with you here on X's and Bros. Plus, we've got the final results of the poll question from yesterday, the daily wager, and at 8:18, it's a handy Andy because it is Thursday, remember? So we got to get to that. So let's get to a couple of texts. Go right ahead.
Sure. Yeah. Morning, Shep. Unfortunately, John Collins for Tobias was not a good swap. I didn't expect Trajan to pay him, so Tobias did well for himself financially and landed on a winning team.
Yeah, trade. What if you went out and traded for Trey Murphy III? Would that make you feel better?
I mean, yeah. Obviously.
I think John Collins might bring a little more physicality. He's a better shooter than Tobias Harris. He is also more affordable than Tobias Harris.
And younger. That doesn't
and younger. Yeah, I meant younger more than affordable. I do fear, like I said, that it's a lateral move. I think it's a better move. It's not that I wanted no Tobias Harris, but I feel like what you and I are looking for is the guy who's going to solve the issue that this team has had over the last few years. And that's the ability to shoot from deep and force teams to defend you differently. Have you gotten that? Isaiah Joe is probably more of a guy who's going to come off your bench. I doubt he's a starter. Maybe he's a starter on the Pistons. If he is, I think you're in trouble. I want you to think about this for a minute. If your starting unit is Jalen Duren in the middle and John Collins, for sure, he's going to start because he's going to take the place of Tobias Harris, a Trey Murphy III, an Asar Thompson, and Cade Cunningham. How much better is that with just the one player compared to what you have right now with four of those names and a man you don't know just yet? Who's the guy who is the other starter? If it's Isaiah Joe, it's not as good. It's kind of like the Duncan Robinson thing. Duncan Robinson would have been better coming off the bench than he is as a starter, right? I think that's pretty logical. And if he comes back, I don't think there's been any word yet. I mean, people were talking about them possibly waiving him and him going back to Miami. If he does stay on this team, with this lineup, with the addition of John Collins and the rise of Asar Thompson and how steady he has been overall, I think you're going to see Duncan Robinson come off the bench. And that's a good thing for Detroit. Next, one more text. Go right ahead.
Yeah, so we got another one here. Every time I hear conversations regarding home runs versus strikeouts, I think of Rob Deere, one of the kings of all or nothing.
I used to think of Dave Kingman. That goes back even further. But Rob Deere's a really good one. So in case people don't know, Rob Deere played for San Francisco, played for Milwaukee. Did he play for Milwaukee before or after Detroit? I think it was just before Detroit. He led the league in strikeouts 4 times. However, and he never led the league in home runs. However, he never hit more than 33 homers, and he never struck out 200 times, which might surprise a lot of people. All right. Now, it's not always about strikeouts total. It's strikeouts, per game, I suppose, because it's not like he was a guy who's playing 162 games. So if you actually compared it to Riley Green's strikeouts If Riley Green's playing 156 games and striking out 201 times, Rob Deere striking out 186 times in 134 games, or per at bat, maybe might be a little bit better. Strikeouts per at bat might be the thing that you want to exactly focus on. But he was a guy who struck out a lot. He was an all or nothing guy. I would say this too. There was a time where Detroit had some of those players that were synonymous with all or nothing. Pete Incaviglia is another one. Pete Incaviglia never homered more than 30 times in a career, struck out to lead the league twice in his career. He was a regular 100 plus strikeouts in a season. And in a day and age, and this is why the texter's dead on with this, in a day and age back then when strikeouts were actually viewed as a terrible thing to happen. It's not the way it is any longer. People kind of gloss over the strikeouts. I use Dave Kingman as an example. Well, Dave Kingman was also a 3-time All-Star. Dave Kingman hit home runs we thought was a home run hitter. And yeah, he hit 48 one year. He hit 37 another year. Both led the league. To put this in perspective, Dave Kingman once led the league in strikeouts with 105. Think about that for a minute. 105 strikeouts led Major League Baseball. If you said that today, and I'm talking about on this July 2nd, how many people do you think have struck out 105 times or more already? The answer to that is 10. There have been 10 guys already who have not played 100 games yet, but have struck out more than 105 times, the same number that Dave Kingman struck out and led the league in 1981. Hell, the next year he led the league in strikeouts with 156, but he hit 37 homers. But he led the league in strikeouts with 156. This year, you're going to have how many players? How many players are going to have 156 strikeouts or more? Well, to put that in some type of perspective for you, from a year ago, you had 33 players strike out 156 times or more. That tells you something about the difference of today's baseball compared to that in the 1980s. And that's how he was defined, though. The texter's right. Rob Deere defined as a strikeout, all or nothing guy. Pete Incaviglia defined as a strikeout, all or nothing guy. Dave Kingman defined as a strikeout, all or nothing guy. And yet their numbers are not even close to what some of the numbers have been recently in players who strike out a massive amount and are viewed as home run hitters, not all or nothing. Do you view Kyle Schwarber as an all or nothing guy? Do you view James Wood as an all or nothing guy? Because James Wood last year had 31 homers, but he struck out 221 times. Nobody struck out more than James Wood last year, 121. I know you're going, well, Riley Green, he led the American League with 201. James Wood led all of baseball. Not that that matters. I'm not couching it for a guy like Riley Green. I'm just saying we say, oh, he led the league. He led the American League. He didn't lead Major League Baseball. And he had more homers than James Wood, I might add. And we've already talked about the homers and compared to the strikeouts for James Wood this year. I do want to get to the rankings of the Lions on the pairing of defensive side of the ball. But when we come back, Handy Andy. How does Andy McDonald fix 3 primary issues in sports? We'll get to that when we come back on a Tullymore Thursday, brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
In the den. It's a new day to celebrate and be free. It's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a new day for winning. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, your getaway reimagined. This is Matt Shepard. The Tigers continue their road trip of the weekend series in Texas, fresh off their sweep of the Yankees, who've lost 7 straight, their longest such streak in 3 years. But the story was Detroit's balance in the series. Sure, the Tigers' bats came alive, scoring 22 runs and banging out 28 hits. But the biggest reason for the brooming was the Tigers' starting pitching, where Mize, Skubal, and Melton threw a combined 20 and a third innings, struck out 26, walked just 1, and allowed just 1 earned run. On top of that, Kiter Montero continues to thrive. He pitched 2 scoreless innings Wednesday, becoming a valuable piece to the staff and will play a vital role moving forward this season and beyond this year, especially if Detroit is a seller at the trade deadline.
The good life is firecracker savings at Meijer throughout the July 4th weekend. Load up your cart with summertime crowd pleasers like juicy burgers made with 80% lean ground beef. Now just $3.99 a pound on a 3-pound package or larger, limit 5. Sweeten your celebration with fresh favorites. Sweet corn, 4 for $1. And mini seedless watermelons or tender golden pineapples, buy 1, get 1 for $1. Mix or match. Make the 4th your best yet with good life quality at real low prices. Only at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Celebrate the soul of folk and Americana. The Lumineers Automatic World Tour comes to Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort Sunday night, July 19th, with special guest Josiah and the Bonnevilles, part of the Soaring Eagle Outdoor Summer Concert Series. Tickets start at $67 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.com. Showtime 8 p.m. See the Lumineers live with Josiah and the Bonnevilles, July 19th at Soaring Eagle Casino, SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sports Net. Sign up like the Huge Show did with the Detroit Sports Net Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
Coming up later today at 3 on the Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
18 after the hour. Welcome back. On Thursdays, Andy won't be with us tomorrow. He's got another wedding. No, I'm just kidding. He's got a big plan for the weekend. I'm sure a lot of people have big plans for the weekend. Is tomorrow a holiday?
I mean, a lot of people have the day off, I feel like, from certain jobs just to get the weekend going, because 4th of July is Saturday. But
yeah, so I think tomorrow is considered a holiday.
Yeah, it is, like, for like government jobs and stuff like that. I know that for a fact. But yeah, I'm just going up to the UP. My girlfriend's from Idaho. She's never been there. She constantly gives me crap about how.
Where are you going?
We're staying in Newberry, which is like it's.
I know exactly where it is. A friend of mine, Rob Rubik, is from there. Okay, so Newberry, right?
Yeah,
nice small little town. Yeah,
it's close enough to like Quamanon Falls and Pictured Rocks and all that stuff that we can get around like shorts and that stuff. Because again, what I was gonna say is she gives me so much crap about having no elevation here in Michigan, being from out in the mountains. So I'm just not that this is gonna change her mind about that, but there's at least some cooler stuff up there that I want to show her. That's for
Love
sure.
that. That's great. That's going to be awesome. Well, safe travels and have some fun. I'm glad she's finally going to see a different part of the state of Michigan that you're so proud of, as am I. All right. On Thursdays at 8:18, what do we always do? We do Handy Andy. He's got to fix something.
Andy did a great job. Caught the criminals. The city is clear. The citizens can now all sleep peacefully.
I'm still hoping I can do all that. But
yeah, you can. Eventually you will. Hopefully you won't have to do it this weekend, but you will do part of fixing some things for us here on a Thursday morning. First question we have for Andy McDonald: how do you gain more interest in the sport of soccer after the World Cup?
I mean, I feel like that's what the biggest thing has been the whole time, right? Because since I was thinking about this the other day. In 2002, when the USA did win their last game in knockout play, it didn't really do anything for me back then. No, I grew up playing. I mean, my dad was not into soccer. My family wasn't really into soccer. I actually have an uncle from Mexico. He loves soccer. So he was like the only one that really ever brought it into my life. I just always preferred football more. So he was big into that stuff, but my dad was not. So I didn't really get the grip. The point is that even that win didn't do anything for me back then. I'm hoping that now with like the new avenue of like social media and people can pay attention to things more. I mean, even kids that just in high school or probably like 7th, 8th grade these days or on Instagram, whatever else, they see these kind of wins. They see the USA teams doing this. They see the celebrations yesterday when they score goals and stuff like that. And some of the chances and some of these games being in America, you have to hope that that's what kind of pushes it forward to get some of the better talent that, I'm sure we have the potential for in our country to go out and play soccer and only grow the game in this country. And it feels like when you get wins like this, and as well as they did play, I mean, they dominated group play. As well as they played, you would hope that this does something for the future.
I do feel like the game has grown. Every
Definitely,
little kid
100%.
seems to play it. I don't think that's the biggest problem. The problem is after they're done playing it as children, where do they go?
Yeah, that's
where
a good question.
Because I think a lot of what happens is like all 4 of my kids, I was going to say all 3 of my boys, but all 4 of my kids, excuse me, started playing soccer. The problem was they got tired of it and they wanted to play a different sport. And we weren't going to have multiple, I swayed them, okay, because I'm not a big soccer guy, multiple sports with soccer being associated as one of them at the same time. Like my oldest son, soccer was out. It was hockey because he was indoor soccer. He's like, okay, I'm playing hockey and soccer at the same time. I've said you have to pick one or the other. What's interesting is I didn't say that when he was playing football and baseball and hockey all at the same time because it never ended, right? So I said, go right ahead, play all 3 if you want, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So for example, my youngest son, he started at soccer, football, lacrosse, hockey. That was it. Okay. He didn't play baseball, football, lacrosse, hockey. I think in order if you want to gain an interest, more of these players who are on Team USA, they have to play in America.
100%. I agree with that.
I think that's the most important thing.
They're
going to have to take some of those guys and get them. Is the MLS viewed as a Premier League like the Premier League is across the pond?
I mean, people say the Premier League's better for sure, but that is probably because a lot of the best talent plays there. So yeah, I agree. I mean, like you got, I'm forgetting his.
Can you pay them? Can you pay them what they make as a member of the?
Well,
the
Messi
Premier
came here.
League?
Messi came here. He's not American, but he came here and played
Right.
in the
Right.
U.S. And think about what that
Right.
did. I mean, if you get some
Yeah.
of these players that are from the USA team right now that are doing good to come and play on these teams, it would definitely do wonders for people watching.
But you said, and think about what that did. What did it do?
I mean, I think the only time that I ever watched a soccer highlight or paid attention to soccer was when Messi was involved in some of those games. So
can you get Mbappe to play here? That's not the point. The point is,
sure.
These U.S. players who are carrying the U.S. flag right now, if they were playing on the MLS teams, then I think there might be a way to market them a little bit more.
Definitely, 100%.
Okay? So I agree. All right, so that's number one. Well done.
We're coming back, drilling into something here.
It's a big weekend for grilling. Memorial Day, Labor Day, July 4th, right? Those are the grill. We grill out all the time in Michigan, but those are the big days that everybody loves to have a pate. How do you cook your steaks?
I mean, I'm medium rare. That's just for me. I like New York strips more than I like anything else, and that's the way that I'm going to go with it. And I would prefer to have it on charcoal. I don't know about you.
I agree. I don't have a charcoal grill because I like even in the winter to cook. So I have a gas grill.
Okay.
But I think charcoal is much better. I agree with you.
Yeah,
there.
I've watched my dad have like every grill known to man. So that's like that. That's what I want at some point, but I just don't have a
That's
big
what
enough
needs
space.
to be invented, Andy.
Yeah,
You
right.
need to invent a grill that tastes and feels like charcoal, but you don't have to warm it up as long. You know what I mean?
That would be amazing. I wish that I.
So
had
I'm
that
with
skill
you on the
set.
medium well. It's interesting that you like the New York strip. I like the ribeyes.
Oh, ribeyes are good too, man. I like everything. Son, when it comes to steak, it feels like, but
Yeah. Well, will you be cooking steaks?
no, I don't know because we're going to a party. I think it's probably just going to be like 'cause we're going to go to a
Burgers
friend's
and
party on the way
dogs?
back down on Saturday.
Okay.
So hopefully, I think it's just going to be something like that. She listed off what was going to be there, but I honestly don't remember everything. So
Okay, that's two down, one to go.
yep, last one.
Best condiments at a cookout. I don't mean mustard and ketchup and mayonnaise and relish. I'm talking about the other side dishes. If you got two other side dishes with whatever it is you're cooking, could be steaks, burgers, hot dogs. What's going to, because you're, and chicken, because my wife doesn't eat red meat, for example.
Sure.
So chicken on the grill. Anything and everything that goes with that. All right. Give me 2 to 3 sides that you have to have.
Well, I think when it comes to side, when it goes to the vegetable, I'm always a big grilled asparagus guy. I've always loved asparagus. So that's one of my favorites. It could be either that or corn. I'm not going to complain about corn yet. I love
Agree.
love
Corn on the
grilling.
cob, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
no question about that. And then there has to be some kind of potato. I don't care if it's I would prefer like if you're gonna grill it, probably a baked potato. I love a good baked potato if it's on the grill. But I mashed potatoes are my favorite. So that's one that I would like anywhere, or a potato salad is always good too. Just depends on not a potato salad guy.
Oh my God.
I like a red skin potato salad. I like a red skin potato salad or something like that. But I'm not like one of the huge like mustard. Nah, I like mustard, but mustard potato salad doesn't really taste like mustard. So no, I'm out on that.
I don't eat potato salad. I never ate it. My mom used to make German potato salad, hot and cold all the time. Family loved it, never touched it. I'm just like, I am not eating
I get it.
potatoes in that regard. But I know a lot of people who love it. I'm not saying I'm right.
Yeah.
For me, what about a salad? I mean, do you have to have a salad
for
in there?
sure?
Okay.
There's always
So for
that
me,
need.
for all of those, I agree with, I love the baked potato, but I would probably go with a cheesy potato, which is something my sister-in-law makes, and it's phenomenal. I might do coleslaw rather than the constant stabbing of the lettuce, even though I like a good salad. My wife likes these big salads with fruit in them and all kinds of pine nuts and all this other stuff, and I'm pretty simple. And then, although I do like a fruit salad.
Oh, fruit salads are great. That's a good one too.
Yeah, I really like a fruit salad. I think it'd go with all of those. The cheesy potato would go with all of those. And
Cheesy potatoes
corn,
are the best.
Yeah, and the corn and the cob, I would say. I'm not an asparagus fan, but most people love the asparagus, especially with steak. So
Yeah,
a
man.
job well done, as always, on Handy Andy. When we come back, we'll get the final results of the poll question, the Mitch Lineswell poll question. We'll get the daily wager brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, and we've got a little more Lions football talk to discuss on the other side on X's and Bros.
Huge here for the incredible Crystal Mountain Resort in Thompsonville, Michigan. If you've never experienced the mountain, it's unbelievable. They offer up 36 holes of championship golf, Betsy Valley, Mountain Ridge, accommodations, a ton of choices. Go to crystalmountain.com, see everything for yourself. One of the top spas in America. They can handle businesses, small groups, big groups, your buddies, the ladies, and more. Book your getaway now at crystalmountain.com. That's crystalmountain.com.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
The stock market goes up and then it goes down. It's fine while you're saving for retirement, but as you get closer to retirement, it can cause stress. Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. In my NFL days, this season could be a real roller coaster and a lot of fun, but roller coasters in retirement aren't as much fun. Do world events have you wondering if your retirement is safe? Will your money last even if the stock market were to take a dive? Have you had your retirement account stress tested to see what kind of risk you're actually taking? Let's not leave your retirement to chance. Hope is not a plan. Contact the pros at Mitch Lyons Wealth today and put us to work for you. Let's ensure your plan works even if the stock market doesn't. Text PLAN, PLAN, to 844-867-8335. That's PLAN to 844-867-8335. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. Investment advisory services are offered through MLW Advisory Services, LLC, DBA Mitch Lyons Wealth, a registered investment advisor.
Thursday. We're brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. I'm Matt Shepard. Andy McDonald is alongside. Hope you have an opportunity to spend time with your family this weekend and do some things that you want to do and celebrate the 250th birthday of this great country of ours. Trying to do a little bit of my part with usually I wear the X's and BrO's hat. I've got the American flag hat on. My kids always make fun of me because my golf bag is red, white, and blue. I have my driver head cover is a beer tap. My 3-wood and my fairway wood are both red, white, and blue cover. And then my 5-wood is covered just with the type of club that it is, which is Cleveland. But anyway, and my putter cover is also red, white, and blue. So my kids, I don't know if I told you this, but for Father's Day, they got me a dozen boxes of golf balls. Let's see if this is it. I think that's it. This is it right here. I got Pro V1s, all right? And they got me these golf balls that say 1776 on them. I don't know if you can see that.
It's a little blurry, but
it's a little blurry with the stripe and the stars on the side, which is pretty awesome.
That's cool.
My fear is that I use them and I lose them. I don't want to lose them.
No,
so there's a little added pressure for me. But anyway, so hope you have a really good one. All right. The lists are interesting, I think, in general for football. We've mentioned the wide receiver combo. We mentioned the running back combo. CBS Sports came out with the best pass rushing duos for the upcoming season. The Lions can't be on this because we don't know what Derek Moore is going to be. I don't expect them to be part of a top 5 list, okay? But it's interesting who their 5th choice is. The number 1, I think for the most part, is pretty easy. Myles Garrett and Byron Young are number 1 for the Rams. Hell, even if they hadn't traded for Myles Garrett, they'd still be top 5. It wouldn't be number 1, but they'd be top 5. Number 2, CBS Sports goes with Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr., which I would have put number 1 if Myles Garrett was not part of the Rams. All right? These guys are an absolute nightmare for quarterbacks. Both players with double-digit sacks, 27 overall. Texans allowed more than 21 points over the final 10 regular season games. That's really impressive, okay? 21 points per game, okay? Just one time in the last 10 weeks, regular season weeks, the Texans allowed 21 points or more. That's really impressive. Those two guys are a big part of it. All right. Number 3, they had Nick Bonito and Zach Allen for Denver. Makes sense. Number 4 was San Francisco, led by Nick Bosa. And number 5 is the one that made me, kind of shake my head just a little bit. Brian Burns, who I think is awesome for sure. But Abdul Carter, 4 sacks as a rookie, 23 quarterbacks hits. It might be for 2026 because that's what they're basing it on. But based on what he did a year ago, I don't think I would put them at number 5. Brian Burns, stud, man, 2nd-team All-Pro for sure. Lions will not going to be on that list maybe for 2027. Let's hope, okay? Because that means things would be going really well. Speaking of Lions defenders, Jack Campbell, as we had mentioned to you, I think a week ago, or maybe it was earlier this week, but I think it was a week ago, where the Lions had a number of players in the top 100. CBS Sports came out, Pete Prisco, with their top 100 NFL players. Jack Campbell came in at number 88. A big reason why, what other players have to say about him. Here's what Tristan Wirfs and Cooper DeJean had to say about the Lions' soon-to-be captain, middle linebacker, one of the best linebackers, 1st-team All-Pro in all the NFL.
Jackie, yeah.
Why is he so good?
Captain Jack.
That was the guy I looked up to when I came into college.
It's more the way he's wired, like the way he thinks about the game and plays the game, how aggressive he is.
That's from NFL Film. So the first voice you heard there, Tristan Wirfs and Cooper DeJean. I'm not taking anything away from him because you know how much I love Jack Campbell. He's probably my favorite Lion. For the most part, my favorite Lion used to be Frank Ragnow, and then now it's Jack Campbell. Once Ragnow retired, it became Jack Campbell. I've always been a big believer in him. I love the draft pick. I'm a huge, huge Jack Campbell fan. Both those guys, Tristan Wirfs and Cooper DeJean, both went to Iowa. So I think there's just a slight bit of partiality.
That's what they're looking for him too. You know, they know a lot about him, obviously. So
yeah, obviously, yeah, they do. But still, they play against him, and you're looking for guys who in the league in general who are sometimes don't have any type of bias.
Right.
Nakobe Dean, who played at Georgia and plays for the Eagles, also plays linebacker. He also is a big fan of Jack Campbell. Here's what else others had to say.
I mean, he big guy.
6'5", 246-pound Jack Campbell.
Jack's a freak. First team All-Pro this past year. 6'5", runs like a deer, hits like a train.
He did a little bit of everything this year.
Yeah, so that's primarily Nakobe Dean. That means something to me when another linebacker, like just talking about him being big doesn't really mean much. But talking about him being big and fast and hard to handle, that means a hell of a lot more to me. And those who don't play with him, so a Lions player would have a bias for sure. And those who have not played with him, Tristan Wirfs, Cooper DeJean at Iowa, probably for me it means a little bit more. So, for example, Aaron Jones was quoted in this strong bite of highlights of Jack Campbell. But you get guys like that who are recognizing one of your guys, it tells you your guy has arrived. And there's no doubt about that Jack Campbell is one of the best. The way he closes in on screens and slip screens and the way he runs sideline to sideline and can catch guys, it's super impressive. I'm not saying he should be a top 10 player or even a top 20 player. I think 88's a little light for him, quite honestly. But when other players in the National Football League who have worked to get what you've worked for to get it done are recognizing you, that tells you an awful lot about the player themselves. So it's good stuff. Let me get to our final results of our poll question and the daily wager after this quick text. If Nick Bosa ever healthy, would he be on the list? It's a good question. It's a really good question. Nick Bosa is one of those freak players too. The brother of Joey Bosa. Nick Bosa, he's been healthy. I mean, there was a time where he started every single game for 3 straight consecutive seasons, and the production was there. So, for example, what was it? 2021. Yeah, here it is. So 2021 had 15 and a half sacks, 21 tackles for loss, which led the league, and he played 17 games. The following year, he played 16 games. He had 18 and a half sacks, which led the league and was all-pro. All right, and Defensive Player of the Year. Following year, he played 17 games, had 10 and a half sacks, and had 35 quarterback hits. So, yeah, the problem was last year. So he's had 2 seasons, Nick Bosa. This is why sometimes, again, paint people with a broad brush can be dangerous. He's played 7 years in the league. 2 of the 7 years, he's had injuries that has kept him out for most of the season, if not all the season. His second year in the league, he played only 2 games. His third and last year, he played only 3 games. Is that enough to tell you he's injured all the time or he's injury prone? We look at 2 of the 7 rather than 5 of the 7. Outside of Lions fans, is Aiden Hutchinson viewed as a player who gets injured a lot? I hope not. It was 2 years ago. He only played 5 games. 3 of the 4 seasons he's played, he has played in every game. Nick Bosa in 5 of the 7 has played in, if not all, most of the games. One year it was 14 instead of 16. So if you're willing to let somebody slide a little bit when it comes to that. And he's been super productive. I mean, as evident by All-Pro and Defensive Player of the Year and 18.5 sacks and double-digit sacks on a regular basis. And if you're not there, maybe you're leading the league in tackles for loss, something that I hope Aiden Hutchinson, who I like a lot, would be a little bit better at this year. My hope is that Aiden Hutchinson, the most tackles for losses he's ever had is 14. And he's done that twice in his career. You would like that to be in the mid-20s, making plays on the ground attack. The quarterback hits, the quarterback pressures, they're there. No question. Becoming an all-around player. 14. So let me, unfortunately, everybody who plays that position is compared to Myles Garrett. All right. Tackles for losses for Myles Garrett, 33 last year, 22 the year before, 17 the year before that, 18 the year before that. Whereas Aiden Hutchinson has never had more than 14. So if you get the gist of where I'm coming from. Nick Bosa, tackles for losses, 21, 19, 18. If you're in the 20s from the defensive end position, that's a really good statistic, okay? On top of the other ones that we're bringing up. And granted, you're looking for the overall player, but when you're making, $45 million a year, yes, I am expecting the all-around player. I hope that's okay by you because I expect it to be. All right, let's get to the final results of our poll question, and we get to the daily wager. All right? So we asked you yesterday, our Mitch Lanswell poll question of the day. Would you want the Pistons to sign LeBron James as a free agent? Yes or no? What did people say?
Well, people probably watch this show. They're voting on this because it was 74% no and 26% yes.
Would you want him? Would you want him?
No.
At age 42, he's an absolute freak.
Yeah, I'm not okay. So I say I wouldn't want. I don't know how you could say you really wouldn't want LeBron James.
I can because I don't think he's engaged defensively.
Yeah,
I think he takes away from other players in your offense, and I think he kills your offensive momentum.
Sure, oftentimes. There's plenty. Yeah, that's fair.
So don't want him. I think he's a selfish player in a nutshell. Let me give you an example real quick.
You're good.
We were talking with Richard Hamilton the other day at Detroit Athletic Club, and he said he'll come on the show. So that's a good thing.
Love that.
So we were talking about his time in Washington, and he said oftentimes what happens is sometimes you get, and he was young in his years in Washington, you get these guys, they get they've got the things that they want to accomplish too. Okay. Rich Jefferson was going off, and he had 31 in the first half. They come into halftime, and Michael Jordan said to him, I got you in the second half, big fella. I got you in the second half. Richard Hamilton thought to himself, what the hell does that mean? I got 31. Hamilton took 2 shots in the second half. That's it. Guy scores 31 in the first half, and he shoots and he scores. He takes only 2 shots in the second half. Something's messed up there. Okay. I think LeBron James is very similar to that. I think he wants his own. And I don't like players like that. I don't want the selfish player. It's funny. This might be hypocritical. I never viewed Kobe Bryant as that guy. Was he selfish at times? Yes. But because he was so engaged defensively, because he was the ultimate competitor, that it was nonstop, that it was never enough. He could never train enough. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think LeBron James is like that. It's probably sometimes a little bit unfair, but that's how I feel. Let's get to Soaring Eagle's daily wager. We have one for you every single day. It's brought to you by Soaring Eagle and their casino and resort and their sportsbook Ascend inside there. It'd be a great time for you to watch some more soccer here tonight, I suppose, if you want to go in there. What was the daily wager yesterday? How'd you do? And what do you got for us for the weekend?
Well, I know you guys were all watching, so I know that you already know that I was correct on this one. So let's give myself that really quick. I took -1.5 for the USA yesterday to win, and luckily they pulled it off. Even despite being down a player almost the entire second half. You want to talk about another rule? It's crazy in soccer. It's basically a 30-minute power play for the other team if somebody gets a red card. Like, oh my goodness. But
exactly.
That was crazy. But yeah, so they got the job done. They did still hit. They were clearly the better team. I'm going to go with golf this week, and this is the one. I'm 0 for 2 in golf. I've been trying to do this, though, and I'm obviously not going to be here tomorrow, so I'm trying to give something for people for the whole weekend. I'm going with a top 10 finish. I'm going to go JT Poston. All right. He's getting it at plus 220 right now. That line's kind of been moving around a lot. So I've seen it go as high as plus 245. He has been playing pretty good golf lately, other than the Travelers Championship last weekend. He did finish, he didn't make the cut for that. But before that, US Open, he was tied for 4th. He was first place in the Memorial Tournament, and he has won the John Deere Classic before. So I think he's a safe bet to finish in the top 10.
I was hoping you were going to do something on Tigers starting pitching because they start a series in Texas tonight. Framber Valdez gets the call. Tigers starting pitchers have allowed 1 or fewer earned runs in 6 of their last 7 starts. They've allowed 2 or fewer hits in 5 of their last 7 starts. I was going to use this as a handy Andy, but I'm going to ask you this as we close things out.
Sounds good.
On your Caro meter, 1 to 5. Where is the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift wedding at Madison Square Garden leave you? 1 to 5. How
much do I care
5
about
being
it?
high. How much do you care about it?
I'm gonna tell you.
It's on all the news shows. It's all these social media. Where is it?
It's a 1. It's a 1 for me. I don't ever look into that kind of stuff. But I'm not okay. I'm not the guy who complains about they can put her on camera as much as they want, whatever. I get it. It is what it is. I get it. It's annoying, whatever at times, but to me, it doesn't really matter. They're not probably in a way. Celebrities always in a way ask for attention, right? But I don't know if they're necessarily if they want it that much or whatever it is. Obviously, the stuff with the NBA with Taylor Swift there at the end, she was wearing the Cleveland jersey, and then the Knicks stuff. I don't care about any of that crap, to be honest with you. I care about more what Travis Kelce does in the football field. And to me, it hasn't been a great product for the last year or so because he's clearly getting older.
It is literally it's below 1 for me.
I just don't care.
She's overrated. He's one of the greatest tight ends. I do not care. It tells you everything you need to know about them. That is rumored that there's going to be a 2-day event. There's going to be 1,000 people, and you rent up Madison Square Garden.
Nuts.
It's unbelievably sickening. And then they'll have the gall to stand there and tell me what I should be doing at the voters box or with my money or who should get what. It's funny how nobody ever says she should give money back. Real quick, a couple of thoughts on social media regarding our poll question. What does this do for you with the soccer? One person, nope, it still sucks. The other, I've not watched a second of the soccer. It's not interesting to me. Tigers look good now, but dug too deep a hole in May. Trade Scooble so you get something for him. Melton and Montero are the future. Jackson Jobe is the future. I would still keep Casey Mize and Framber Valdez, and then you have yourselves one hell of a starting staff. We'll talk about it tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock here on X's and Bros. Don't forget the huge show later on today from 3 until 7. Have a great week. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We're back with you tomorrow morning at 6 on X's and Bros.
Rod Stewart returns to Soaring Eagle Thursday, September 3rd. The Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series with special guest Richard Marks. Tickets start at $71 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. One last time, Rod Stewart with Richard Marks, September 3rd. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
In the den.
It's a new day to celebrate and be free. It's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a new day for winning. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, your getaway reimagined. This is Matt Shepard. The Tigers continue their road trip of the weekend series in Texas, fresh off their sweep of the Yankees, who've lost 7 straight, their longest such streak in 3 years. But the story was Detroit's balance in the series. Sure, the Tigers' bats came alive, scoring 22 runs and banging out 28 hits. But the biggest reason for the brooming was the Tigers' starting pitching, where Mize, Scooble, and Melton threw a combined 20 and a third innings, struck out 26, walked just 1, and allow just one earned run. On top of that, Kiter Montero continues to thrive. He pitched 2 scoreless innings Wednesday, becoming a valuable piece to the staff and will play a vital role moving forward this season and beyond this year, especially if Detroit is a seller at the trade deadline.
Our state is Mecca for golf, and one of Michigan's crown jewels is Tullymore and St. Ives, 2 world-class championship courses in one charming and beautiful location. The golf is challenging but fair. You're going to use every club in your bag. But let me tell you what makes Tullymore really special. It's the people. From the wait staff to the bartenders to the pro shop and the management, their sole purpose is to give you a memorable experience, and they do. Go to TullymoreGolf.com today and experience a Michigan masterpiece.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sports Net. Sign up like the Huge Show did with the Detroit Sports Net Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at Tigers.com and MLB.com.
Celebrate the soul of folk and Americana. The Lumineers Automatic World Tour comes to Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort Sunday night, July 19th, with special guest Josiah and the Bonnevilles, part of the Soaring Eagle Outdoor Summer Concert Series. Tickets start at $67 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.